The first sign of trouble came on a quiet Tuesday morning when Ambassador Zelik of the Zelani Federation collapsed during his breakfast. One moment he was eating his usual bowl of sweet grain pods, and the next he was on the floor, his blue skin turning a sickly gray color. His wife called for help, but by the time the medical team arrived, dark spots had appeared all over his body. Within 6 hours, Ambassador Zelik was dead. By the end of that same day, 47 more Zelani had died. On their home planet of Zelos Prime, all showed the same symptoms. First came the fever, then the gray skin, and the dark spots that spread like spilled ink across their bodies. Finally, their organs would shut down one by one until nothing could save them. The Zelani were a peaceful people, they looked like. Tall, thin humans, but with blue skin and large eyes that took up much of their faces. They ate only plants and had never fought a war in their entire history. Their medical knowledge focused on balance and harmony.
Ow.
They used gentle herbs and soft music to heal their sick. They believed that all life should be treated with kindness. Dr. Venus, the head of Zelani medicine, had never seen anything like this disease. She tried every treatment they knew. Cooling baths for the fever, healing songs sung by their best singers, the most powerful herbs from their sacred gardens. Nothing worked. The disease kept spreading. Within a week, the plague had jumped to 3 other planets in the Zelani Federation. Within 2 weeks, it had reached 12 worlds. The dead were counted in thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Entire cities fell silent as the plague swept through them like a hungry monster. Dr. Venus worked day and night in her laboratory. She studied the disease under every kind of microscope they had. She tried to understand how it worked, how it spread, how to stop it. But the plague was unlike anything in their medical books. It changed constantly. Every time she thought she understood it, the disease would shift and become something new. The worst part was how fast it killed. From the first symptoms to death took only 3 days. 3 days was not enough time to say goodbye. 3 days was not enough time to find a cure. 3 days was barely enough time to count the dead. The Zelani Federation held an emergency meeting. Leaders from all 47 member worlds joined the call. Their faces filled the giant screen in the council chamber, and Dr. Venus could see the fear in their large eyes. "The situation is critical," announced Chancellor Yimas, the leader of the Federation. "We are facing extinction. Our medical teams cannot stop this plague. We must ask for help." The other leaders agreed. Zelani had always been proud of their medical knowledge, but pride would not save their people now. They needed help from outside their federation. They needed help from the galaxy. Dr. Venus prepared the emergency broadcast. She made sure to include everything important, the symptoms of the disease, how fast it spread, how many had already died. She recorded samples of the plague so other doctors could study it. She explained what treatments they had tried and how they had failed. Then she added one more thing to the message. A personal plea. "We are dying," she said into the camera. "Our children are dying. Our elders are dying. We have tried everything we know, but it is not enough. Please, if anyone in the galaxy can help us, we beg you to come. We need medical aid. We need doctors who understand diseases we cannot fight. Time is running out." The message went out on all emergency channels. It reached every corner of the galaxy where civilized species lived. The Zelani specifically asked for help from the best medical organizations they knew. The Cathara Medical Consortium was famous for their healing technologies. Andromeda's prime healing fleets had saved whole worlds before. These were the groups that could surely help them. The Galactic Council received the message at their headquarters on Nexus Station. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the Great Chamber to discuss the Zelani crisis. The council chamber was a massive room with seats arranged in circles, each species in their own section. The Cathara representative, a being that looked like a walking tree with golden bark, spoke first. "The Cathara Medical Consortium is already helping 3 other plague outbreaks. We cannot spare ships for another crisis." The representative from Andromeda's Prime, a creature that glowed with soft blue light, shook its head sadly. "Our healing fleets are committed to the war zones in the Outer Rim. We have no vessels available. One by one, the great medical powers of the galaxy gave the same answer. They were too busy. It's committed elsewhere. Too far away. The Zelani would have to wait. In the corner of the chamber, almost forgotten by the others, sat the human representative. Ambassador Maria Santos was a small woman with dark hair and tired eyes. Humans were new to the galactic community. Species still thought of them as violent primitives, who had only recently learned to travel between stars, while the other representatives made excuses. Ambassador Santos quietly typed a message on her communication device. She sent it directly to Earth without asking the Council for permission. 3 hours later, a reply came back from the Terran Medical Corps. Ambassador Santos stood up from her seat in the corner. The other representatives barely noticed her at first. The Zelani Federation will receive medical assistance, she announced in a clear voice. The chamber fell quiet. The Cathera representative turned its golden branches toward her. What assistance? Who will provide it? Earth will send the medical ship Hippocrates, Ambassador Santos replied. Estimated arrival time is 72 hours. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Most representatives had never heard of this ship. The few who had heard of human medicine laughed quietly among themselves. Humans were known for their violence, not their healing. The Andromeda's prime representative glowed brighter with what might have been amusement. Humans. What could they possibly know about medicine? They only stopped killing each other a few decades ago. Ambassador Santos did not smile. She did not argue. She simply said, the ship is already on its way. Back on Zealous Prime, Dr. Venus received the message about the incoming help. She felt a moment of hope, followed quickly by confusion. She had never heard of humans before. Their medical records were not in any database she could access. She did not know what kind of help they could provide, but help was help. And her people were still dying. She sent a message back to the humans, thanking them for coming and asking what kind of medical supplies they might need. The reply was short and strange. We bring our own supplies. Prepare landing area for medical. Shuttle, do not be alarmed by our ship's appearance. You're coming to help. Dr. Venus wondered what they meant about not being alarmed. How alarming could a medical ship be? She would find out soon enough. Dr. Venus stood at the observation deck of Zelos Prime Medical Center, watching the stars through the large window. 72 hours had passed since the humans promised to send help. Her people were still dying. The death count had reached over 2 million across the Federation. Entire cities stood empty now. She checked her communication device for the 100th time that day. Still no word from the approaching human ship. The Space Traffic Control Center had detected nothing on their sensors. Maybe the humans had changed their minds. Maybe they realized they could not help after all. Then every alarm in the medical center began screaming at once. The sound was so loud and sudden that Dr. Venus dropped her device. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Emergency broadcasts echoed from every speaker in the building. She ran toward the control room, her heart pounding with fear. What is happening? She shouted over the noise. Commander Jorak, the head of space traffic control, was staring at his screens with wide eyes. His blue skin had turned almost white with shock. Something just appeared in our system, something huge. Dr. Venus looked at the main display screen. At first she could not understand what she was seeing. The object was massive, bigger than anything she had ever seen in space. It looked like a mountain of metal floating among the stars. Lights blinked along its surface like angry red eyes. How big is it? She asked. 3 kilometers long, Commander Jorak whispered. Maybe more. Our computers are having trouble measuring it exactly. Dr. Venus felt her stomach drop. That cannot be a medical ship. Commander Jorak was already sending emergency signals to every ship in the system. All vessels, unknown warship has entered Zelani space. This is a violation of our medical quarantine. All civilian ships move to safe distance immediately. Response came almost instantly. The voice was calm and human, speaking their language with a strange accent. Zealous Prime Control. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran Medical Corps' vessel Hippocrates. We are here to provide medical assistance as requested. Commander Jorak stared at his communication panel as if it had grown teeth. Medical assistance. That is impossible. You are clearly a military vessel. Warship. Negative. Zelos Prime Control. We are a medical ship. I am a doctor. My crew consists of 12,000 medical professionals. We are here to help your people. Dr. Venus grabbed the communication device from Commander Jorak. This is Dr. Venus, head of Zilani medicine. There must be some mistake. Medical ships do not look like weapons of war. The human voice remained patient. Dr. Venus, I understand your confusion. May we proceed with medical assistance? Time is critical for your patients. Other ships in the system were already fleeing. Cargo vessels and passenger transports fired up their engines and jumped to hyperspace as fast as they could. The few Zilani defense ships they had were tiny compared to the human vessel. They looked like insects next to a great beast. We need proof that you are actually medical personnel, Dr. Venus said. Send us your credentials, your medical licenses, something to show us you are really doctors. Data files began appearing on their screens. Medical degrees from something called Harvard Medical School, certifications from Johns Hopkins Hospital, training records from places with names like Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic. The files showed decades of medical experience from thousands of crew members. Commander Jorak was studying the human ship with every sensor they had. The weapon systems on that vessel could destroy our entire planet, he said quietly. Those are not weapons, came the human voice. Dr. Venus realized the humans could hear everything they were saying. Those are medical tools. Large-scale medical tools. Medical tools? Dr. Venus could not hide the disbelief in her voice. They look like particle beam cannons. Surgical lasers, the human corrected. For precision operations on a planetary scale, the missile systems you see are pharmaceutical delivery platforms. Energy weapons are sterilization arrays for eliminating harmful organisms. Dr. Venus exchanged looks with Commander Jorak. Neither of them knew what to think. The humans were either telling the truth, or they were very creative liars. We request permission to send a medical team to the surface, Commander Chen continued. We need to examine patients and take samples of the pathogen. How many people in your medical team? Dr. Venus asked. 54, the initial assessment. All trained doctors and medical technicians. Dr. Venus thought about her dying people. Even if the humans were lying, even if this was some kind of trick, what choice did she have? The plague was killing her people faster than any weapon could. Permission granted, she said. Land at Medical Center, Platform 7. We will meet you there. Understood. Medical team will arrive in 30 minutes. Dr. Venus and Commander Jorak hurried to Platform 7. They brought a full security team with them, just in case. The landing platform was a large circle of metal on top of the medical center, designed for emergency medical transports. They waited and watched the sky. After 28 minutes, they saw a small ship separating from the massive vessel in orbit. It was sleek in silver, much smaller than the giant ship. But it still looked more like a fighter than a medical transport. The ship landed with a soft hiss of steam, a ramp lowered from its side, and figures began walking out. The first person to emerge was a small human female. She was shorter than any Zilani, with dark hair tied back and wearing simple blue clothes that looked like medical uniforms. She carried a black bag that appeared to be a standard medical kit, but the humans who followed her made Dr. Venus step back in alarm. They were tall and broad, wearing the same blue uniforms but moving like soldiers. Their medical bags looked heavy and solid, built like armor. The scanning devices they carried hummed with power and had targeting displays that belonged on weapons. The lead human walked up to Dr. Venus and held out her hand in what Dr. Venus recognized as a human greeting gesture. Dr. Venus? I am Dr. Sarah Chen. Thank you for allowing us to help. Dr. Venus shook the offered hand carefully. The human's grip was firm but gentle. Dr. Chen, I must ask again. Are you certain you are medical personnel? Your ship, your equipment, everything looks like ... like military hardware? Dr. Chen smiled, but her eyes were serious. Dr. Venus, on Earth we learned that medicine and war are not so different. Both are fights against death. Both require the best tools we can build. Both demand that we never give up. Behind Dr. Chen, her team was unpacking equipment that looked like it could level a building. Scanners that glowed with dangerous energy. Medical computers that could probably hack any system in the galaxy. Treatment devices that seemed to contain more power than most starships. "We would like to examine your patients now," Dr. Chen said, "and we will need samples of the pathogen that is killing your people." Dr. Venus nodded slowly. She had asked for medical help. The humans had brought her doctors who carried tools of war turned toward healing. She was not sure if she should be grateful or terrified. "Follow me," she said. "But please, try not to frighten the patients." Dr. Chen looked at her team of human medical professionals with their military-grade healing equipment. "We will be as gentle as possible," she promised. Dr. Venus led the human medical team through the corridors of Zello's Prime Medical Center. Their footsteps echoed loudly on the metal floors. The humans walked in formation like soldiers, but they spoke quietly among themselves about patient care and treatment options. "The isolation wards are on level 5, Dr. Venus explained as they entered the elevator. "We have tried to separate the infected patients, but the disease spreads so quickly that containment is almost impossible." Dr. Chen nodded and pulled out a scanning device from her medical bag. It looked like a weapon to Dr. Venus, with a grip like a pistol and a display screen that showed targeting information. But when Dr. Chen pointed it at the elevator walls, the screen showed detailed readings about air quality and contamination levels. "Atmospheric pathogen density is at critical levels throughout this facility," Dr. Chen said to her team. "Full protection protocols are in effect." The other humans immediately activated equipment that Dr. Venus had not noticed before. Their blue uniforms suddenly shimmered and became sealed suits with built-in air filters. Face masks appeared from hidden compartments in their clothing. Every human was now protected from the air around them. "How did you do that?" Dr. Venus asked in amazement. "Standard medical field gear," Dr. Chen replied. "Our uniforms are designed for hostile biological environments. On Earth, we assume every medical situation could be dangerous until proven otherwise." The elevator opened on level 5, and Dr. Venus led them into the isolation ward. The smell hit them immediately. It was the smell of death and sickness, so strong that it made Dr. Venus cover her nose. The humans did not react at all. Their sealed suits protected them completely. Through the glass windows of the patient rooms, they could see dozens of Zilani in various stages of the disease. Some still looked mostly normal except for the gray tint to their skin. Others were covered in the dark spots that meant death was coming soon. A few were already unconscious, their breathing shallow and weak. Dr. Chen walked from window to window, studying each patient carefully. Her scanning device beeped and hummed as it analyzed what it saw. After examining 20 patients, she stopped and turned to Dr. Venus with a grim expression. "Dr. Venus, this is not a natural disease." "What do you mean?" Dr. Venus felt her heart skip a beat. "Its pathogen shows clear signs of artificial construction. Someone made this. Someone designed it to kill your people." The words hit Dr. Venus like a physical blow. "That is impossible. Who would do such a thing? The Zilani have no enemies. We have never fought a war." Dr. Chen's expression became harder. "On Earth, we learned that having no enemies does not mean no one wants to hurt you. This is a bioweapon, Dr. Venus, a very sophisticated one." One of Dr. Chen's team members, a tall human male with gray hair, approached them. "Commander, initial analysis confirms engineered viral structure. Multiple redundant mutation pathways. Designed to resist conventional treatment protocols." "Thank you, Dr. Martinez," Dr. Chen replied. Then she turned back to Dr. Venus. "We need to take samples immediately, and we need access to your complete medical database on this outbreak." Dr. Venus led them to the laboratory where she had been working day and night trying to understand the plague. The room was filled with Zilani medical equipment that looked elegant and peaceful compared to the humans' gear. Soft curves and gentle colors versus hard edges and military efficiency. Dr. Chen looked at the Zilani equipment with interest. "Your medical technology is very advanced in biological harmony, but it is designed for natural diseases that follow natural rules." "What do you mean?" Dr. Venus asked. Your approach to medicine is based on balance and cooperation with natural, biological processes. That works well for normal illnesses. But this bioweapon was designed to exploit exactly that kind of gentle approach. Dr. Chen set up her own equipment next to Dr. Venus's instruments. The human devices were larger, more complex, and looked like they belonged on a battleship rather than in a medical lab. When Dr. Chen activated them, they hummed with dangerous amounts of power. What we need, Dr. Chen said as she worked, is to fight this disease the way it was designed to be fought, like a war. She took samples of the pathogen and fed them into her analysis machines. The results appeared on multiple screens in formats that Dr. Venus had never seen before. Instead of the gentle biological readings she was used to, the human equipment showed tactical displays that looked like battle plans. There, Dr. Chen pointed at one of the screens. The pathogen has 17 different defensive mechanisms. Each one is designed to counter a specific type of treatment. When you tried gentle healing, it activated defenses against gentle approaches. When you tried stronger medicine, it switched to defenses against aggressive treatment. Dr. Venus stared at the display. How do we fight something that can defend against everything? We don't fight it with one approach. Dr. Chen smiled for the first time since arriving. We fight it with everything at once. Overwhelming force applied from multiple directions simultaneously. Dr. Chen turned to her team. Begin preparation for Phase 1 treatment protocols. I want full-spectrum therapeutic bombardment ready within 6 hours? Therapeutic bombardment? Dr. Venus repeated the words slowly. Yes, we are going to attack this disease with every weapon in our medical arsenal. Chemical warfare using targeted drugs. Biological warfare using modified immune responses. Even radiation therapy delivered by our surgical lasers from orbit. Dr. Venus felt dizzy. From orbit? You mean your ship will fire weapons at our planet? Medical weapons, Dr. Chen corrected. The same technology that could destroy a city can also deliver precise medical treatment to millions of patients simultaneously. We learned long ago that the tools of war make the best tools for saving lives when properly applied. It pulled up more displays showing treatment plans that looked like military assault strategies. We will hit the pathogen from 17 different angles at once. Every defensive mechanism it has will be overwhelmed by attacks it cannot counter all at the same time. Is this how humans always practice medicine? Dr. Venus asked. Dr. Chen paused in her work. Dr. Venus, on Earth, everything wants to kill. Us. The weather, the animals, the plants, the bacteria, the viruses, and sometimes even other humans. We learned to practice medicine like our patients' lives were always under attack, because they usually are. She gestured to her team, who were setting up equipment that could have been weapons or medical devices depending on how you used them. We approach every medical problem like it is trying to kill our patients, and we fight back with everything. We have. But what if you are wrong? Dr. Venus asked. What if this treatment is too aggressive? What if it kills the patients instead of saving them? Dr. Chen looked at her with sad but determined eyes. Dr. Venus, your people are already dying, all of them. This disease will kill every Zilani in your federation if we do nothing. The choice is not between safe and dangerous. Sometimes the choice is between dangerous and dead. She turned back to her equipment. We would rather risk killing our patients while trying to save them than watch them die while we do nothing. Dr. Venus watched the humans work with their frightening medical technology. She was beginning to understand that human medicine was not just about healing. It was about refusing to accept death as inevitable. It was about fighting for life with the same intensity that others used for war. How long before you can begin treatment? She asked. 6 hours for full deployment, Dr. Chen replied. But we can start with the first wave of therapeutic attacks in 2 hours. Attacks, Dr. Venus repeated. She was getting used to the human, a way of talking about healing like warfare. Yes, Dr. Chen said. We are going to war against this disease, and we are going to win. 2 hours later, Dr. Venus stood in the command center of the medical facility. Watching screens that showed the human ship in orbit, the massive vessel had changed. What looked like weapon systems before were now unfolding like metal flowers. Panels opened along its hull to reveal arrays of devices that pointed down toward the planet. Beginning orbital medical platform deployment came Dr. Chen's voice over the communication system. Zalani medical staff, please stand by for coordination. Briefing. Dr. Venus watched in amazement as smaller ships launched from the main vessel. They looked like fighter craft, but instead of weapons, they carried what Dr. Chen called therapeutic delivery systems. The small ships took positions around the planet, forming a network of medical support that covered every continent. Venus, Dr. Chen, appeared on the main screen. She was now wearing a uniform that looked more military than medical, but her voice remained calm and professional. We are ready to begin the first phase of treatment. I need you to understand what you are about to see. I am listening, Dr. Venus replied, though she felt nervous about what was coming. Phase 1 involves what we call targeted pharmaceutical bombardment. Our orbital platforms will fire medical missiles at treatment centers across your planet. Each missile contains enough medicine to treat 10,000 patients. The delivery system looks like an attack, but it is actually the fastest way to get medicine to everyone who needs it. On the screens, Dr. Venus could see the orbital platforms rotating to target cities across Zelos Prime. Red targeting beams swept across the surface like the scanning systems of a weapon. But instead of preparing to destroy, they were mapping every hospital and medical center. Launching therapeutic missiles in 3.2.1. Streaks of light fell from the sky like shooting stars. Dr. Venus held her breath as she watched. What looked like an orbital bombardment of her planet, the missiles struck their targets with perfect accuracy. But instead of explosions, there were puffs of silver mist that spread quickly through the air around each medical facility. Direct hits on all primary targets, reported one of Dr. Chen's team. Pharmaceutical dispersal at optimal levels. Medicine is now airborne and entering patient treatment areas. Dr. Venus rushed to the window that overlooked the main treatment ward. She could see the silver mist flowing through the air vents and settling over the sick patients like a gentle fog. The Zalani, who were still conscious, looked around in confusion, but they did not seem afraid. What is happening to them? Dr. Venus asked. The airborne medicine is the first layer of treatment, Dr. Chen explained. It will slow the disease and prepare the patients for more intensive therapy. But this is just the beginning. Over the next hour, Dr. Venus watched as the humans deployed medical technology that seemed impossible. The devices that looked like weapons, satellites, began firing beams of energy at the planet. But instead of destroying anything, the beams passed harmlessly through buildings and focused directly on infected patients. Orbital surgical laser arrays are now active, Dr. Chen announced, beginning cellular-level therapeutic intervention. Dr. Venus could not see the laser beams with her eyes, but her medical instruments showed what was happening. The energy beams were somehow reaching inside the patient's bodies and working at the level of individual cells. They were finding the disease organisms and attacking them one by one while leaving healthy tissue completely unharmed. How is this possible? Dr. Venus whispered. Dr. Chen heard her question. On Earth, we developed these systems to fight diseases that our regular medicine could not reach. Sometimes the only way to save a patient is to operate on them from space, using tools that can see and work on single cells. The treatment continued for hours. Dr. Venus watched her medical readings change in ways she had never seen before. Disease that had been killing her people was being systematically destroyed throughout their bodies. Not just stopped or slowed, but completely eliminated. But the humans were not finished. Deploying Phase 2 treatment protocols, Dr. Chen announced, initiating immune system shock therapy. New devices emerged from the orbital platforms. Fired different kinds of energy beams that somehow reached into the patient's immune systems and made them stronger. Dr. Venus watched in amazement as her people's natural defenses became more powerful than they had ever been. Phase 3. Cellular regeneration bombardment. Dr. Chen continued. This time, the beams seemed to repair damage that the disease had already caused. Organs that had been failing began to function normally again. Tissue that had been destroyed was somehow rebuilt from the inside out, Dr. Venus realized. She was witnessing medicine that was far beyond anything her people had ever imagined. The humans were not just treating the disease, they were rebuilding her people from the cellular level up. Dr. Chen, she said into her communication device, this is incredible. But I have to ask, how did you learn to do this? There was a pause before Dr. Chen answered. Dr. Vina's humans spent thousands of years learning how to hurt each other very efficiently. We developed weapons that could destroy at every level, from armies down to individual cells. But about a century ago, we realized that the same knowledge could be used to heal instead of harm. You turned your weapons into medical tools? More than that, we learned that healing and hurting use the same principles. To cure a disease, you have to attack it. To repair damage, you have to understand how that damage was caused in the first place. Our weapons taught us how to build the best medical equipment in the galaxy. Dr. Venus looked at the patients in the treatment ward. They were no longer gray and dying. Color was returning to their skin. The dark spots were fading away. Some were even sitting up and talking to each other. The treatment is working, she said in amazement. Phase 3 complete, reported Dr. Chen's team. Moving to Phase 4, preventive immunization bombardment. There is more? Dr. Venus asked. We are not just curing the current disease, Dr. Chen explained. We are making sure your people will be immune to this bioweapon and 17 similar diseases that do not exist yet but could be created using the same methods. More energy beams fell from the sky.
These ones somehow changed the patient's immune
system so they would be protected against future attacks. Dr. Venus realized the humans were not just saving her people from the current plague. They were protecting them from biological warfare they had never even imagined. Final phase, environmental sterilization, Dr. Chen announced. The largest weapons on the human ship began to glow with power that made Dr. Venus step back from the windows. But when they fired, the beams passed through everything without causing any damage. Instead, they somehow found every trace of the disease organism in the air, water and soil of the planet, and destroyed it completely. Treatment complete, Dr. Chen said. The bioweapon has been eliminated from your world. Your people are cured and immunized. Environment is clean. Dr. Venus looked at her medical readings one more time. Every single patient was showing normal vital signs. The disease was completely gone. Not just treated or controlled, but erased as if it had never existed. Dr. Chen, she said slowly, you did not just cure a plague. You won a war. Yes, Dr. Chen replied. That is exactly what we did. In human medicine, Dr. Venus, we do not just treat diseases. We destroy them completely so they can never hurt anyone again. Dr. Venus understood now why the human medical ship looked like a weapon of war, because that is exactly what it was. A weapon designed to fight the greatest enemy of all living things, death itself. 3 weeks after the humans arrived, Dr. Venus walked through the halls of Zella's Prime Medical Center with a feeling she had almost forgotten. Hope. The corridors that had once echoed with the sounds of death and despair now buzzed with the quiet activity of normal hospital life. In the former isolation wards, Zelani patients were sitting up in their beds, eating meals and talking with their families. Children who had been dying were now playing games on the floor. Elderly patients who had been given up for dead were asking when they could go home. The plague was not just cured, it was completely gone, as if it had never existed at all. Dr. Venus found Dr. Chen in the main laboratory working with a team of Zelani doctors. The human had spent the past 3 weeks teaching them how to use some of the medical equipment the humans had left behind. The devices were smaller versions of the orbital weapons systems designed for normal hospital use. Instead of planetary treatment, Dr. Chen, Dr. Venus said as she approached, the Federation Council would like to speak with you before you leave. Dr. Chen looked up from the scanner she was demonstrating. Of course, though I should mention that we have found something important in our final analysis of the bioweapon. What is it? We traced its origin. The disease was created by a species called the Dvorak. They are biological weapons manufacturers who sell plagues to anyone willing to pay for them. This particular bioweapon was designed specifically to kill herbivorous species like your people. Dr. Venus felt a chill run through her body. Someone paid them to kill us. But who? And why? We are still investigating that. But the important thing is that we have identified 37 other bioweapons in the Dvorak arsenal that could threaten species throughout this galaxy. We will be sharing this information with the Galactic Council An hour later, Dr. Venus and Dr. Chen stood in the Federation Council chamber. The leaders of all 47 Zalani worlds appeared on the large communication screen. Their faces showed gratitude, but also confusion and concern. Chancellor Yima spoke first. Dr. Chen, on behalf of all Zalani people, we thank you for saving our lives, but we must ask some difficult questions. I understand, Dr. Chen replied. Your medical methods were unlike anything we have ever seen. You treated healing like warfare. You used weapons to cure disease. How did your people develop such an approach to medicine? Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment, choosing her words carefully. Chancellor, to understand human medicine, you need to understand human history. For most of our existence, everything on our planet tried to kill us. She gestured to a display screen that showed images of Earth. Our weather could freeze us or burn us. Our animals hunted us. Our plants poisoned us. Diseases swept through our populations and killed millions. Even other humans were often our enemies. The Zalani leaders listened with growing amazement as Dr. Chen continued. We learned to survive by becoming very good at fighting everything that threatened us. We built weapons to defend against predators. We developed medicines to fight diseases. We created technologies to protect us from our environment. Every challenge that tried to destroy us taught us how to become stronger. Chancellor Yimas asked, but how did this lead to your current medical abilities? About 100 years ago, we realized something important. All the knowledge we had gained from fighting our enemies could be used to save lives instead of taking them. The same technology that let us destroy things at the cellular level could be used to repair them. The same weapons that could eliminate armies could eliminate diseases. Dr. Chen pulled up more images showing the transformation of human society. We took our most powerful weapons and turned them into medical tools. We took our most destructive technologies and used them to preserve life. We learned to fight death itself with the same intensity we had once used to fight each other. One of the council members, an elderly Zalani named Dr. Kitas, asked, is this why your medical ship looks like a weapon of war? Yes. The Hippocrates was built from a decommissioned dreadnought battleship. We believe that medical vessels should be the most powerful ships in our fleet. When someone calls for medical help, they should get our best and strongest response. Dr. Chen's expression became more serious. But there is something else you need to understand about human medicine. We do not just treat sick people. We eliminate the things that make people sick. What do you mean, Chancellor? Yimas asked. The bioweapon that was killing your people came from the Dvorak. They are still out there, still making diseases, still selling death to anyone who will pay for it. In human medicine, we do not consider a problem solved until we have removed the source of the problem. Dr. Venus felt her heart skip a beat. Dr. Chen, what are you saying? The Hippocrates is not just a medical ship, Dr. Venus. It is also still a very effective warship. The same weapons that cured your people can be used for their original purpose when necessary. The council chamber fell silent. Dr. Chen continued speaking in the same calm, professional voice she had used throughout the crisis. We have located the Dvorak homeworld. We have identified their biological weapons facilities. We have traced their distribution networks throughout the galaxy. Within the next few months, the Dvorak will no longer be able to threaten anyone. You are going to attack them? Dr. Kitas asked in shock. We are going to cure the galaxy of a disease, Dr. Chen replied. The Dvorak are a plague upon civilized species everywhere. They create death for profit. In human medicine, we eliminate such sources of infection. Chancellor Yima struggled to find words. Dr. Chen, the Zalani are a peaceful people who do not believe in violence, even against those who have wronged us. We understand that, Chancellor. We respect it. You do not need to be involved in what comes next. But you should know that other species will never again face the threat you just survived. Dr. Chen turned to Dr. Venus. We have left you medical equipment and training materials that will help you defend against any future biological attacks. We have also provided you with communication devices that will reach our medical fleet instantly if you ever need help. Again? Will we see you again? Dr. Venus asked. Probably not. The galaxy is large and there are many species that need medical assistance. We will always be able to call for help, and someone will always answer. Dr. Chen picked up her medical bag and prepared to leave. Before going, she turned back to the council one last time. There is something important I want you to remember about what happened here. You called for medical aid and you received it, but you received it from a species that many consider violent and primitive. Perhaps the galaxy should reconsider what it means to be civilized. She paused at the door. In human philosophy, the highest form of civilization is not the absence of the capacity for violence. It is having that capacity and choosing to use it only to protect life. With that, Dr. Chen left the council chamber. Dr. Venus followed her to the landing platform where the human shuttle waited. Dr. Chen, she said as the human prepared to board her ship, thank you for showing us that medicine and warfare can serve the same purpose. Thank you for letting us help, Dr. Chen replied. Take care of your people, Dr. Venus, and remember that somewhere in the stars, there are others who will fight for life as fiercely as any warrior fights for victory. The shuttle lifted off and returned to the massive ship in orbit. Hours later, the Hippocrates jumped to hyperspace, carrying its crew of warrior healers to their next mission. Dr. Venus watched the stars where the ship had disappeared and realized she finally understood something about humans. They had not become peaceful by abandoning their capacity for war. They had become peaceful by choosing to make war only against the enemies of life itself. And somewhere in the galaxy, those enemies were about to discover what it meant to face human medicine. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the USS Prometheus and watched the stars through the main screen. Her ship moved slowly through space near the edge of human territory. The crew had been out here for 6 months, looking for new planets and studying space. The Prometheus was a big ship with 200 people on board. It looked like any other exploration vessel from the outside. Gray metal hull, blue lights along the sides, and large sensor arrays that stuck out like wings. Most of the crew were scientists, engineers, and doctors. They spent their days taking samples, running tests, and sending reports back to Earth. Alina had been a starship captain for 15 years. She was 42 years old, with short black hair and steady brown eyes. Her crew trusted her because she always kept them safe. She made decisions quickly and never panicked, even when things went wrong. Today felt different, though. Her science officer, Dr. James Park, had picked up strange signals 3 hours ago. The signals came from the other side of a small asteroid field. They were clearly artificial, which meant one thing: aliens. Captain, I'm getting clearer readings now, said Park from his station. He was a thin man with glasses who got excited. About every new discovery, signals are definitely from ships. At least 12 vessels, maybe more. Alina nodded. Any response to our greeting messages? Nothing yet, Captain. We've been broadcasting standard first contact protocols for 2 hours. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen looked up from the navigation console. She was Elena's second in command and had been with her for 5 years. Should we move closer, Captain? We're still pretty far out, Elena thought for a moment. Earth's first? Contact protocols were clear. When meeting a new species, humans should approach slowly and peacefully. They should broadcast friendship messages and show they meant no harm. The approach distance should be close enough to communicate properly, but far enough to avoid seeming threatening. Take us closer, Sarah. Nice and slow. Keep broadcasting our messages. The Prometheus moved forward through space. Its engines hummed quietly as the ship got closer to the asteroid field. Alina watched the sensor readings change on her screen. The alien ships were getting clearer. Captain, I count 15 ships now, Park said. His voice was excited, but also nervous. They're in a defensive formation around what looks like a larger command ship. Alina studied the formation on her screen. The alien ships were arranged in a circle with their weapons pointing outward. It was exactly how humans would position their fleet if they expected trouble. That's interesting, she said. They seem ready for a fight. Maybe they've had bad experiences with other species, suggested Chen. Alina nodded. That made sense. Not every species in the galaxy was peaceful. Some were raiders or conquerors. If these aliens had met hostile species before, they might be naturally suspicious. Keep our weapons powered down, Alina ordered. I want them to see we're not a threat. The Prometheus continued its slow approach. Alina could see the alien ships more clearly now. They were sleek and silver with curved hulls that looked almost organic. Strange energy patterns flowed along, their surfaces like veins of light. Suddenly, Park's console started beeping rapidly. Captain, they're scanning us with some kind of deep penetration sensor. It's going right through our hull. Alina frowned. Deep scans were usually considered rude in first contact situations. It was like looking through someone's private belongings without permission. But maybe these aliens had different customs. Let them scan, she said. We have nothing to hide. But as the scan continued, Alina noticed something troubling. The alien ships were moving. They were spreading out and changing position. Their weapons were starting to glow with energy. Captain Chen said quietly, I think they're getting ready to attack. Alina's heart started beating faster. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. Are we doing something wrong? Check our approach speed and distance. Park quickly checked his readings. We're following all the protocols, Captain. Approach speed is standard, distance is appropriate for first contact. Our weapons are powered down, and our shields are at minimum. Alina couldn't understand it. Prometheus was doing everything right. They were being as peaceful and non-threatening as possible. So why were the aliens acting hostile? Captain, incoming transmission, said the communications officer, Lieutenant Torres. It's not in any language we know, but the computer is trying to translate. Put it on speakers. Strange sounds filled the bridge. They were high-pitched and rapid, like birds chirping very fast. The translation computer worked for several seconds before producing words in English. Unknown vessel. You approach and attack. Formation. Your weapons charge detected. You will surrender or be destroyed. Alina stood up quickly. Attack formation? Our weapons aren't even charged? The translation might be wrong, Park suggested. Maybe they're misunderstanding something. Alina thought fast. These aliens seemed to think the Prometheus was hostile. Maybe their sensors interpreted human technology differently. Or maybe they had evolved to be very suspicious of strangers. Torres, transmit this message. We come in peace. We are explorers, not warriors. Our weapons are not active. We wish to talk and be friends. Torres sent the message, but the alien response came, back even faster than before. Lies. Your vessel shows clear attack posture. Your approach speed indicates hostile intent. You have 10 seconds to surrender. Alina felt ice in her stomach. 10 seconds wasn't enough time to retreat or explain. Right? These aliens had made up their minds. They thought the Prometheus was dangerous, and nothing would change that. All hands. Brace for impact. Alina called over the ship's communication system. Shields to maximum evasive maneuvers. The alien ships opened fire all at once. Bright energy beams shot across space toward the Prometheus. The first hit slammed into the ship's shields, making the whole vessel shake. Red warning lights started, flashing on every console. Shields down to 60%, Chen reported. Hull damage on decks 5 and 6. More energy beams hit the ship. The lights on the bridge flickered as power systems struggled to cope. Alina held onto her chair as another impact nearly knocked her down. Return fire? Asked the weapons officer. Alina hesitated. Oh. If they fired back, it would prove to the aliens that humans were hostile. But if they didn't fight, her crew would die. Another massive hit struck the ship. This time, something important broke. The engine noise changed to an unhealthy grinding sound. Engine damage, Captain, the engineering officer called out. We can't escape. Alina realized the truth. Aliens had trapped them. The Prometheus couldn't run and couldn't hide. All because of a terrible misunderstanding. She looked around at her crew. They were scared but still working at their stations. They trusted her to save them. But Alina didn't know how. These aliens wouldn't listen to reason, and now her ship was crippled. Captain Park said quietly, "What do we do now?" Alina stared at the alien ships on her screen. They were moving closer, probably getting ready to board the Prometheus. She had to think. If something fast, or her crew would become prisoners or worse. We survive, she said firmly. Whatever it takes, we survive. The emergency beacon from the USS Prometheus reached Earth 12 hours after the attack. The signal traveled through space at faster than light speed, carrying a simple but terrible message. First contact had gone wrong. Admiral David Chen sat in his office at Colonial Defense Command when the alert came in. He was a small man with gray hair and sharp eyes who had been protecting human space for 20 years. When he read the message from Captain Vasquez, his face went very serious. The Prometheus was trapped. Alien ships had attacked without warning. The crew was alive but couldn't escape. Worse, the aliens seemed to think humans were naturally hostile. This could mean war with a species that shot first and asked questions later. Admiral Chen called an emergency meeting. Within an hour, the top military leaders of Earth were sitting around a table in a secure room deep underground. The mood was tense. The situation is bad, Chen told them. We have 200 people trapped by hostile aliens. If we send a rescue fleet, the aliens might think we're invading. If we do nothing, our people die. General Morrison, the head of Earth's armies, spoke up. What about negotiation? Can we talk to these aliens? The Prometheus tried that, Chen answered. The aliens don't want to talk. They think we're liars and warriors. So what do we do? Asked Fleet Admiral Park. Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he opened a sealed folder on the table. Inside were documents marked with the highest security clearance. Documents that most people in the room had never seen. There is something you need to know about the Prometheus, Chen said slowly. It's not just an exploration ship. The room became very quiet. Everyone stared at the Admiral. 3 years ago, we started a secret project called Protocol 7, Chen continued. We were worried about meeting hostile aliens someday, so we built special systems into some of our ships. Systems that are normally asleep. He pulled out photos of the Prometheus. But these photos looked different from the ship everyone knew. In these pictures, the Prometheus had weapon ports along its hull. Its engines were much larger. Strange antenna arrays stuck out from the main body. The Prometheus is really a prototype warship, Chen said. Everything the crew thinks they know about their ship is only half true. The other half has been waiting. For a day like today, General Morrison leaned forward. You mean it's been hiding weapons this whole time? Not just weapons, Chen said. The entire ship can transform. New armor plates, hidden missile tubes, advanced shields, and an artificial intelligence system that's smarter than anything we've ever built. We call her Athena. Fleet Admiral Park looked shocked. The crew doesn't know any of this. Captain Vasquez knows some of it, Chen said. She was briefed when she took command. But most of the crew thinks they're on a science ship. That was the whole point. If enemies captured the ship, they would only see what we wanted them to see. And now? Morrison asked. Chen stood up and walked to a large computer terminal. He typed in several passwords and authorization codes. A new screen appeared, showing the words Protocol 7 authorization required. Now we wake up the real Prometheus, he said. Meanwhile, in space, near the asteroid field, Captain Vasquez sat in her damaged ship and tried to think of a way out. The alien ships surrounded the Prometheus like wolves around wounded prey. Hadn't attacked again, but they also hadn't tried to communicate. Captain, said Dr. Park, I'm picking up some strange readings from our own ship. Alina looked at him with confusion. What kind of readings? Internal systems are activating? Systems I've never seen before. It's like the ship is waking up. Before Alina could ask what he meant, every screen on the bridge went dark. Then new words appeared in bright blue letters. Protocol 7 activated. Stand by for system integration. Alina felt her heart jump. She knew about Protocol 7. Admiral Chen had told her about it in a secret briefing 3 years ago. She had hoped they would never need to use it. All hands, this is the captain, she announced over the ship's communication system. Remain at your stations. Do not be alarmed by any changes to ship systems. We are implementing defensive protocols. A new voice spoke from the bridge speakers. It was female and sounded completely calm. Good evening, Captain Vasquez. I am Athena, the Advanced Tactical and Hazard Elimination Neural Authority. I am now online and ready to assist. Elena's crew stared at the speakers with wide eyes. They had never heard this voice before. Hello, Athena, Elena said carefully. What is your current assessment? We're surrounded by 15 hostile vessels of unknown design, Athena replied. Our engines are damaged but repairable. The enemy appears to be waiting for something, possibly our surrender. Can you fix our engines? Affirmative. However, I recommend a more comprehensive approach. With your permission, I will begin full ship transformation. This will take approximately 20 minutes. Elena looked around at her confused crew. They deserved to know what was happening. Athena, please explain to my crew what you are. Certainly. I am an artificial intelligence built into this vessel 3 years ago. The USS Prometheus is not merely an exploration ship. It is a prototype military vessel designed to appear harmless while possessing advanced combat capabilities. Have been dormant until now. Dr. Park raised his hand like a student in school. What kind of capabilities? Adaptive armor plating, directed energy weapons, advanced missile systems, gravitic manipulation drives, and comprehensive electronic warfare suites, Athena answered. In simple terms, Dr. Park, this ship was built to fight and win against superior numbers. Lena saw the shock on her crew's faces. I know this is surprising, she said. Right. But right now, these systems might be the only thing that can save us. Captain, said Lieutenant Commander Chen, are we really going to fight them? Elena thought about that question. She didn't want to fight. She wanted to explore space and make friends with new species. But the aliens outside had made their choice. They saw humans as enemies, no matter what Elena did. We're going to defend ourselves, she said firmly, and maybe teach these aliens that humans are more dangerous than they thought. Beginning transformation sequence, Athena announced. Throughout the ship, hidden panels began to open. Walls moved aside to reveal weapon systems that had been sleeping for years. The hull started to change shape as new armor plates slid in two. Position, deep in the engine room, powerful new systems came online with a deep humming sound. Elena felt the ship vibrating under her feet. The Prometheus was transforming from a peaceful exploration vessel into something else. Something that could fight back. Transformation complete in 18 minutes, Athena said. Captain, I should mention one important detail. What's that? The enemy ships are moving closer? I believe they intend to board us within the next 10 minutes. Lena smiled for the first time since the attack began. Then they're in for a surprise. Outside, the ship, the alien fleet, moved closer to their trapped prey. They had no idea that the harmless human vessel was about to become their worst nightmare. The alien boarding ships attached to the Prometheus hull, with loud metallic clangs. Captain Elena Vasquez watched her security monitors as strange cutting tools began burning through the outer airlock doors. The aliens were coming whether she wanted them to or not. Athena, how much longer until transformation is complete? Elena asked. 6 minutes and 30 seconds, Captain, the AI replied calmly. However, internal defensive systems are already online. Elena looked at her crew. They were scared, but trying to stay brave. Most of them were scientists who had never been in a real fight. They spent their days looking at star charts and running experiments, not fighting aliens. Listen, everyone, Elena said in a strong voice. I need you to remember something important. Every person on this ship has military training Earth requires. It for all deep space missions. Might be scientists, but you're also soldiers when you need to be. Dr. Park looked nervous. Captain, I haven't used military training since Academy. That was 15 years ago. It doesn't matter, Elena replied. Your body remembers. Trust your training and trust each other. The first airlock door gave way with a shower of sparks. Elena could hear alien voices through the hole. They sounded like birds chirping very fast. Athena, what can you tell us about the boarding party? Elena asked. Scanning now, Captain, Athena said. I count 36 hostiles in the first wave. They are bipedal, approximately 6 feet tall, with lightweight bone structure. Their equipment appears to be energy-based weapons in some kind of restraint devices. Alina nodded. They want to take prisoners, not kill us. That's good to know. Captain, said Lieutenant Commander Chen. What's the plan? Alina thought quickly. The aliens expected to find helpless humans hiding in their rooms. Instead, they would find something very different. We don't just defend, Alina said. We hunt. Athena, can you control the ship's environment? Yes, Captain. Gravity, lighting, airflow, temperature, and all internal systems are under my control. Good. Here's what we do. Let them think they're winning at first. Draw them deep into the ship. Then we show them what humans are really like. The aliens finished cutting through both airlock doors. Alina watched on her monitors as the first group moved into the ship. They were tall and thin, with long necks and large eyes. Their skin was pale blue, and they moved very carefully, like they expected traps everywhere. The aliens wore black armor that covered most of their bodies. They carried weapons that glowed with purple energy. Most importantly, Alina noticed they moved like prey animals. They kept looking around nervously and stayed close together in tight groups. They're afraid, Alina realized. These aliens evolved from creatures that got hunted by predators. That's why they shot first. They're scared of everything. The alien leader spoke into a communication device. Athena translated his words. Ship appears empty. No resistance detected. Moving to secure bridge and engineering, Alina smiled. Athena dimmed the lights to 30%. Make the gravity a little stronger in Section C. Can you make some noise to draw them toward the medical bay? Understood, Captain. Creating diversion now. Throughout the ship, lights went down to a spooky level. The aliens on Elena's monitors started moving more slowly as the gravity increased. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors, making the boarding party bunch together even more. They're heading for Medical Bay, reported Lieutenant Torres from Communications. 40 more aliens just boarded. They're splitting into 3 groups. Alina touched her earpiece. All crew members, this is the captain. Time to show our guests how humans really behave. Remember, we're not prey, we're predators. In the medical bay, Dr. Sarah Kim waited behind an overturned table with 3 nurses. When the first aliens entered the room, they saw what looked like a normal ship's hospital. Clean white walls, medical equipment, and beds for sick people. Secure. This area, the alien leader chirped to his soldiers. Check for hiding humans. That's when Dr. Kim stood up. She wasn't holding medical tools. In her hands was a military-grade plasma rifle that had been hidden in a medical supply cabinet. Surprise, she said, and opened fire. The aliens had never seen anything like it. The human they expected to cower and surrender was attacking them. Worse, she was good at it. Dr. Kim moved like a trained soldier, using cover and coordinated fire with her team. Impossible, one alien transmitted. Back to his ship. The medical human is fighting like a warrior. In engineering, Chief Petty Officer Rodriguez and his team had turned their workplace into a fortress. They used power tools as weapons and energy conduits as traps. When aliens tried to enter, they found that the humans had turned every piece of equipment into something dangerous. These aren't scientists, an alien sergeant reported in panic. They fight like trained military. Alina listened to the alien communications through a THENAS translation system. She could hear the confusion and fear in their voices. Athena, route the aliens toward Deck 5, Alina ordered. It's time for the main event. On Deck 5, Alina waited with 15 of her crew members. This was where they would make their real stand. Alina had chosen this location carefully. It was a long corridor with lots of places to hide, and only 2 ways in or out. The aliens came down the corridor in a tight group, just like Alina hoped they would. They were trying to stay safe by sticking together, but that just made them easier. Targets now, Alina whispered. Her crew attacked from 6 different directions at once. But this wasn't random shooting. Every human moved with purpose, using tactics they had learned in military training. They worked together like a pack of wolves. The aliens tried to fight back, but they didn't understand what was happening. These humans weren't acting like any prey species they knew. Instead of running away, the humans were hunting them. Fall back, the alien leader ordered. Regroup in Section A. But when they tried to retreat, they found that Athena had sealed the doors behind them. They were trapped in the corridor with angry humans who fought like professional soldiers. This is not possible, one alien transmitted. Intelligence said humans were peaceful explorers. Alina stepped out from behind cover. She wasn't pointing her weapon at the aliens. Instead, she held her hands up in a gesture of peace. "My name is Captain Alina Vasquez," she said clearly. "Athena, translate this." The alien leader looked at her with large, frightened eyes. He spoke in his chirping language, and Athena translated, "You are not what our scans indicated. Your ship appeared to contain scientists." "We are scientists," Alina replied. "We're also soldiers, engineers, doctors, and anything else we need to be. That's what humans do. We adapt." "A species confuses us," the alien admitted. "You fight, but then offer to talk. You show mercy to enemies." Alina nodded. "That's because we're not actually enemies. You attacked us because you were afraid. But fear doesn't have to lead to war." She looked around at the trapped aliens and her crew. "Here's what's going to happen. We're going to lower our weapons. You're going to do the same. Then we're going to sit down and actually talk like civilized beings." The alien leader was quiet for a long moment. Then he slowly lowered his weapon. His soldiers did the same. "You would trust us after we attacked you?" he asked. Alina smiled. "Trust is what separates civilized species from animals. The question is, are you civilized?" Around them, the Prometheus continued its transformation. Soon it would be a full warship again. But maybe, Elena thought, they wouldn't need to use those weapons after all. The moment of peace inside the Prometheus didn't last long. Admiral Kiktar of the Zephorian fleet watched his boarding teams disappear from his sensors one by one. What should have been a simple capture mission had become a nightmare. His tactical officer chirped nervously. "We're losing contact with our boarding parties. Something is wrong." Admiral Kiktar was old for a Zephyrian. His blue skin had faded to almost white with age, and his large eyes had seen many battles. He had survived by being more careful than other commanders. But this human ship confused him. "Status of the human vessel?" he asked. "Unknown, sir. Our scans show massive internal changes. The ship's structure is shifting. Energy readings are increasing rapidly." Kiktar studied the readings with growing alarm. The human ship that had seemed so helpless was transforming into something else. Something dangerous. That's when the real USS Prometheus revealed itself, Captain. Alina Vasquez stood on her bridge as Athena completed the final transformation sequence. Around her, the ship hummed with new power. Walls had moved to create better defensive positions. Weapon systems emerged from hidden compartments. The bridge itself had changed, with new tactical displays and control stations rising from the floor. "Transformation complete, Captain," Athena announced. "All systems are online and ready." Lena looked at her main screen. The alien fleet was still arranged in their defensive circle, but she could see them moving nervously. They knew something had changed. "Athena, what are our capabilities now?" Alina asked. "Full weapons array is online. Advanced shields at maximum power. Engines repaired and enhanced. Electronic warfare systems ready. We are no longer trapped, Captain." Alina felt a cold smile cross her face. For hours she had been the hunted. Her crew had been in danger, her ship damaged, her people threatened. Now it was time to turn the tables. "Open a channel to the alien fleet," she ordered. "Channel open, Captain." Alina spoke clearly and calmly. "This is Captain Alina Vasquez of the USS Prometheus. You attacked us without provocation. You boarded our ship. You threatened my crew. Now you will learn what it means to hunt humans." The response came quickly from Admiral Kiktar. "Human vessel, you will surrender immediately. You were surrounded and outnumbered." Alina laughed. It was not a nice sound. "Admiral, you made a mistake. You thought we were prey. But humans aren't prey. We're the thing that eats the hunters." It nodded to her tactical officer. "Athena, show them what a real human warship can do." The Prometheus moved like a living creature. Its engines, now fully enhanced, pushed the ship forward at incredible speed. The alien formation that had seemed so solid suddenly looked very fragile. Admiral Kiktar watched in horror as the human ship accelerated toward his fleet. All ships. Open fire. Destroy that vessel. 15 alien ships fired at once. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled space around the Prometheus. But the human ship danced between the attacks, like a predator playing with its food. Its new armor absorbed the hits that connected, and its shields flared bright blue, but held strong. Impossible, Kiktar whispered.
How is one ship avoiding so much firepower? The answer was Athena. The AI could think faster than any organic brain. She calculated the path of every enemy weapon and moved the ship accordingly.
More than that, she was learning. Each time an alien weapon hit, she analyzed its frequency and power. Each time they missed, she studied their targeting systems. Captain Athena said calmly, "I have identified weaknesses in their weapons. Their energy frequency is predictable. I can now avoid 97% of their attacks." Alina nodded. "Time to go hunting. Target their engines, not their life. Support. I want prisoners, not corpses." The Prometheus struck like a shark attacking a school of fish. It moved to the edge of the alien formation and fired precisely at the nearest ship. The alien vessel's engines exploded in a shower of sparks, leaving it drifting helplessly. "One down," Alina said. 14 to go. Admiral Kiktar tried to coordinate his fleet, but the human ship was too fast and too smart. It would appear beside one of his vessels, disable it, and vanish before his other ships could react. Each attack was surgical and exact. "They're not trying to kill us," his tactical officer realized. "They're capturing us alive." Kiktar felt ice in his stomach. In Zephyrian culture, being taken alive by predators was the worst fate imaginable. All ships, ramming speed. If we cannot win, we die with honor. But as his ships moved to ram the Prometheus, something strange happened. The human ship didn't dodge. Instead, it stopped moving and broadcast a message on all frequencies. "Admiral Kiktar," Captain Vasquez's voice said, "if you ram my ship, you'll kill your own boarding parties. They're still alive inside my vessel. Is your honor worth their lives?" Kiktar hesitated. In the heat of battle, he had forgotten about his soldiers trapped on the human ship. They were good warriors who had served him for years. Could he really sacrifice them? Alina watched the alien ship slow down and felt a moment of satisfaction. "That's better. Now, let's finish this properly." The Prometheus moved through the alien fleet like a master surgeon. Ship after ship lost power and drifted helplessly. The humans didn't destroy anything important, just disabled engines and weapons. Soon, Admiral Kiktar found himself commanding a fleet of floating scrap. "Impossible," he transmitted to Alina. "We had you trapped. You were helpless. We let you think we were helpless. There's a difference." She studied the disabled alien ships on her screen. They were completely at her mercy now. She could destroy them all with a few commands. But that wasn't what humans did. "Admiral, I'm going to do something your species probably won't understand," Alina said. "I'm going to help you." "What?" "Your ships are disabled but not destroyed. Your crews are alive. I'm going to repair your life support systems and make sure you have enough power to get home safely." Kiktar was silent for a long moment. "Why would you do this? We attacked you." Alina thought about how to explain human nature to a species that had evolved from prey animals, because that's what civilized beings do. We protect those who cannot protect themselves, even if they were our enemies 5 minutes ago. The Prometheus moved to the first disabled alien ship and extended repair drones. Elena's crew began the work of fixing life support and basic systems. Not weapons or engines, just the things needed to keep the aliens alive. "I don't understand your species, Admiral Kiktar." "Transmitted, I know," Alina replied. "But maybe you will, given time." As the Prometheus moved from ship to ship, repairing and helping, something changed in the alien transmissions. The fear was still there, but now there was something else. Confusion, wonder, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of respect. Alina looked at her crew. They were tired, but proud. They had fought when they needed to fight. They had won when they needed to win. And now they were showing mercy when they could have shown cruelty. That's what makes us human, she said quietly. But she knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when they tried to actually talk to these aliens. Fighting was easy compared to understanding. 3 days later, Captain Elena Vasquez sat across from Admiral Kiktar in the Prometheus conference room. Between them was a table with food from both species. The Zephyrians ate small fruits and seeds, while Elena had coffee and sandwiches. It had taken 2 full days for Athena to create a working translation system between human English and the Zephyrian language. The breakthrough came when Dr. Park realized that Zephyrian communication was partly musical. They didn't just use words, but also tone and rhythm to carry meaning. Admiral Kiktar looked very different up close. His skin was pale blue with darker patches around his large eyes. His hands had long, thin fingers that moved constantly when he talked. Elena noticed he kept looking toward the door as if planning an escape route. "You are still afraid of me," Elena observed. Kiktar tilted his head, which was how Zephyrians showed confusion. "Should I not be? Your species defeated my entire fleet with 1 ship." Elena poured herself more coffee. "Tell me about your world, Admiral. What was it like when your people evolved?" "Why does this matter?" "Because I want to understand why you shot first and ask questions later." Kiktar was quiet for a moment. Then he began to speak in his musical voice. Athena translated his words, but also added notes about the emotional tone. "My world was beautiful, but dangerous," he said. Zephyr had tall forests with silver trees and crystal rivers, but it also had many predators. Flying hunters with sharp claws, ground stalkers with poisonous teeth, ocean beasts that could swallow whole villages. Elena listened carefully. "Your people were prey animals." "Yes. For millions of years we survived by being careful, by hiding, by running fast and thinking faster. We learned to spot danger before it spotted us. We learned that anything unknown was probably deadly." Elena nodded. "That explained everything. So when you met humans, your instincts told you we were predators. Your ship approached too confidently. Your communications were too direct. Your crew showed no fear. Only predators behave that way." Elena leaned back in her chair. "And you were right. Humans are predators. But we're also something else." Gestured around the room. Kiktar and 12 other Zephyrian prisoners were living freely on the Prometheus. They could go almost anywhere on the ship. They ate with the crew and even helped with repairs to their own vessels. "If we were just predators," Elena said, "you would all be dead or in cages. Instead, you're guests." "This confuses my officers greatly," Kiktar admitted. "They don't understand why you keep us alive." Elena smiled. "Let me tell you about Earth, Admiral. My world was dangerous too, but in a different way. We had predators, yes, but we also had other humans. For thousands of years, we fought each other. Tribe against tribe, nation against nation. We learned to be warriors. Then how did you become? Peaceful? We didn't. We became something better. We learned that the strongest predator isn't the one who kills everything. It's the one who knows when not to kill." Dr. Park entered the conference room carrying a tablet computer. "Captain, I have the cultural analysis you requested." "Thank you, Doctor." "Admiral, my science officer has been studying your people's history from your ship's databases." "With your permission, of course." Kiktar made a gesture that meant agreement. "Your species has never had a major war," Dr. Park said. "In 10,000 years of recorded history, the largest battle involved maybe 100 soldiers. Most conflicts were resolved by one side running away." "We are not warriors," Kiktar said, almost proudly. "We survive by avoiding conflict." Lena nodded. "That's why you don't understand us. Humans survive by winning conflicts. But over time, we learned something important. The best way to win a war is to prevent it from starting." She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human repair crews were working on the Zephyrian ships. Both species worked together, sharing tools and techniques. "Look at that," Elena said. 3 days ago, we were shooting at each other. Now we're fixing each other's ships. That's not because humans are soft or weak. It's because we're smart enough to know that friends are more valuable than corpses. Lieutenant Commander Chen entered the room. Captain Admiral Chen is requesting a video conference. Elena looked at Kiktar. Would you like to meet the leader of Earth's military forces? Zephyrian Admiral's eyes went wide. He wishes to speak with me? He wants to make sure this misunderstanding doesn't happen again. The main screen in the conference room activated, showing Admiral Chen sitting in his office on Earth. Behind him, Elena could see other military leaders and government officials. Admiral Kiktar, Chen said formally. I am Admiral David Chen of Earth's Colonial Defense Command. I want to apologize for this incident. Kiktar looked shocked. You apologize? But we attacked your ship. Yes, you did. But you attacked because you were afraid. Fear makes people do stupid things. Should have sent better first contact protocols. Elena watched Kiktar process this. The idea that the victims would apologize to their attackers was completely foreign to Zephyrian thinking. What happens now? Kiktar asked. Admiral Chen smiled. Now we try to become friends. We'll establish embassies, trade agreements, cultural exchanges. Your people are excellent engineers, and we could learn from each other. But what if there are more misunderstandings? Then we'll talk about them instead of shooting, Elena said. That's what civilized species do. Kiktar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Captain Vasquez, may I ask you a question? Of course. Your species could have destroyed us completely. You had the power. Why didn't you? Elena thought about how to explain something so fundamental to human nature, because that's not what strength is for, Admiral. Real strength isn't about how much you can destroy. It's about how much you can protect. I still don't fully understand. Maybe not today, but you have time to learn. 2 weeks later, the Zephyrian fleet left human space with full repairs and a formal peace treaty. Admiral Kiktar's final message to Elena was simple. Thank you for teaching us that predators can choose to be protectors. Elena stood on her bridge and watched the alien ships disappear into hyperspace. Her crew had returned to their scientific work. But everyone carried themselves a little differently now. They had learned something important about themselves and their species. Captain, Athena said, incoming message from Earth. They're assigning us to the new diplomatic contact division. Elena smiled. I guess we're not just explorers anymore. What are we then? Asked Dr. Park. Elena looked at the stars ahead. Of them, somewhere out there were other species, other civilizations, other potential friends or enemies. We're what humans have always been, she said. We're survivors who choose to help others survive too. The Prometheus set course for new systems, carrying the knowledge that first contact didn't have to mean first blood. Sometimes the most dangerous response was the one that chose peace over war. And across the galaxy, word began to spread about. The strange species called humans, predators who protected, warriors who showed mercy, hunters who chose to heal. The universe had never seen anything quite like them before.